Well, hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about container registries in Azure. Containers are like, it comes from Dockers. If you know about Docker, in Docker we have Docker images and Docker containers. Each image can be an image of any application you want to deploy. The container will be an instance of that image, Docker image. You can study about Docker more. In this case, we are going to create container registry where we can store images, but it will be in Azure. In Azure, they have a service called container registry. Here we create our container registry. I gave a name, integration manager. In this, we will store all our Docker images. So it will be private to our applications. Normally, when you download Docker images, it comes from Docker Hub. But to keep our own images privately, we can use a container manager. Azure provides one. We have created one here. We're gonna try to connect to this container registry from our local system. Then we will try to push our own images there. So to do that, we should have the Docker. I have already installed Docker in my system. Let's run docker run hello world. This is a sample container. This image will come from the Docker Hub. So it is running okay, no problem. Try to put the same image which we got it from Docker Hub in the Azure Container Registry. For that we need to log in into the container registry we just created, give our ID and password. Very well. Now we have this local image. We are gonna try to put it in our container registry. We will use this command first to tag the image in the local to this new tag. Then we can push it into the container registry. Tagging means it is just is gonna use the same image but will apply a alias for it. Now we can push it in that name. The name has to be like this, the container registry / the image name. Very well, we could push. Now we will check the repositories. Here we have the hello world. So this image we can use now directly, and we don't need to import it from Docker Hub anymore. Now we're gonna clean up the images from the local system and we will try to pull from the container registry. We can give the image names to delete them. If you see, we got an error here because both the images are with the same image ID. If you notice, they are the same image, so they have reference to each other. Let's put force and remove it, clean it up. Finished. Now we will have no images in the local. Here we go. We pull the image we pushed in the container registry. Very well, we pulled. Now we can see it in our local now. Very well. Now we're gonna try to do the same thing for nginx. Nginx, if you know, it's a web server which can run your web applications. We will try to run the nginx Docker image. Let's try the sample first and see how it works, nginx. Then we will try the pull and push of the images. we are gonna run the nginx. We will give a name my nginx, and we will put the port 80, which is the default port for nginx, and we will map it to the host port of 80 also. -d is to run it in the background. So when we exit the command, it shouldn't stop the container. It will run in the background. We gave the nginx image name, and after the image is extracted, it will run automatically for us. Let's see with process command. Here we have the container running. Let's try to access the application. For that we need to get the IP address. Of course, here our nginx is installed locally. Later on we will try to install it in our Azure. Here in the local, we will try to find the IP address. Okay, and we go with the 80 port and see if the nginx is working properly. Here you go. Welcome to nginx. All is ready. Let's stop the local container. We will try to do the same thing, but we will push the local nginx image in the Azure, and then we will try to pull it and run it and see how it works. We stopped and removed the container. Now we will tag the nginx image to our container registries tag name. As per the Docker guidelines, the name of the image should be like this. After your container registry name, the image name with a slash. Always this guideline should be followed. Once we take the nginx local image, then we will push it. So if you see the tag ID, it's the same, nginx and the container registry nginx. Both of them are having the same image ID because they are tagged. Tag means we are just creating an alias of the image. So it's good for the system, it saves space. Let's delete the old image of the hello world. And also we deleted the nginx images. We will pull it from the container registry. We will give the image name as we specified, which is with the container registry name. So it can pull from our container registry, not a Docker hub. If you don't give the tag name, the container registry name, it will pull from Docker hub. In this case, which we don't want. The nginx is down because we stopped our container. Let's run this now. Well, this time we will get the image from the registry, our private registry. Our nginx is up and running. Alright, next we are going to try to put the same nginx in Kubernetes. That will be fun. And when we will use in Kubernetes, we will use the image from our container registry. For that we need to do some configurations. We will check it out. If you remember from our old deployments of kube apps, Jenkins, and all those stuffs, you can refer my old videos. We will follow the same thing. With the deployment, we will give the image name like this. And let's try to run it in Kubernetes. What do you think what will happen? See, the image we gave, okay, it's from the container registry, but we didn't give any authentication. How it's gonna pull off? It will give us an error. Like if you see the status, error image pull back off, it gives an error. Let's delete the deployment and try to see how we can give an authentication. We can go to the site where we can get some guidelines how to do this. We will create a service principal. It's like a kind of creating a configurations of secrets to our container registry. So we can give that same secret in our deployment file and it will pick up the image. We will just follow the guidelines. There is nothing to worry about this. In this one, we will give the registry name and it will create a secret for us. Like a credential to access the container registry. No? Let's run the script as asked by the site. No? Here we need to change the ACR name is the container registry name. In our case it is integration manager. The principal name you can give anything. I will just let it be like that. It will give me two information. One is the ID and password which we can use to create a secret in our Kubernetes. That secret we will use to pull the image from the registry. These are the credentials which you must store it in a proper place. So don't share with anybody. Of course, here I am sharing it because I will delete the registry after this now. Nobody can access it. But in your case, you must save it in a proper place. Now we will use the Kubernetes control to create a secret with this application ID password. In Kubernetes, to use any credentials like passwords, secrets, private keys, anything, we normally create a secret in the Kubernetes. We will give it a name. This secret is type Docker registry. The name is Azure Docker secret. Just name, you can give anything. Then the server is our integration manager, the container registry server. The username which we got it from the script and the password. Now let's try to change our deployment and we will see if it can pull. We just need to give the secret name, which in our case is Azure Docker secret. So we will give that secret name here. when it is gonna pull the image, it will use that secret. It's a very safe way to keep your credentials in Kubernetes. Instead of directly passing your passwords, you can create a secret. Very well, now we will try to create the deployment and let's see if it works. See, now it's going container creating, no more error. We can use this command. If you have seen my old videos, you will know. To watch our containers, we can use the -w. -o void is to give more information about our pods. So both the pods are running fine. Now we will see how we can put our nginx controller. If you remember the old videos I have, please look into them if you have not seen them. In the old videos I have created something called the domain name. Now we will create a domain name and we will connect to our nginx controller. Is the load balancer which we have created in one video. We will give that IP address. The IP address is for our nginx ingress controller, the ingress controller. Here if you see I have given @ the rate. @ the rate means it will create the default one. No? So if I go as my domain name is easydeveloper.site, if I directly go easydeveloper.site, it will connect to our nginx controller, right? And this same host we will give for our nginx deployment. We will see how it is done. We have a service now. The name is my nginx. Now we will go and change our ingress file to connect to our service. Okay, if you remember I have given the certificate also. So it will create a certificate from Let's Encrypt. It will use the site manager. All these things I have described in other videos. You can look into it. I have created the ingress. Let's see. The certificate manager will create a certificate for us. So our site will be in HTTPS. That's a benefit of using a certificate manager because it will automatically create a certificate for us. And if the certificate gets expired, it will automatically renew it. So we don't need to think about it anymore. Alright, if you see the certificate has been issued. The name is nginx@tls. I gave it in the ingress file. It's similar to other applications. It's nothing new here. Alright, the certificate is ready. If you see, we are in HTTPS with our certificate valid. It comes from Let's Encrypt. So in this video, we have seen how we can have a container registry in Azure and use the image for our deployments in Kubernetes. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to watch more videos like this.